بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل محمد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته Alhamdulillah, today we come to the third session or the last session for today, last but not the least. First of all, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Sukree from Thailand, currently working in the Thailand. So today, last session, we were moderator, and I proudly to present the speaker for today's. He is my teacher. He is my mentor. Associate Professor Dr. Sukree Langputeh. He is International Relation and Alumni for Tony University, Thailand. And he is a visiting scholar at International Public and Management Administration, University of Malaya. He is the academic fellow, Center of Peace and Study, Peace Study and Conflict Management, Chulalongkorn University, Thailand. And furthermore, he is visiting professor of Southeast Asian Institute, Jinan University, China. And he did his PhD in International Relations from Jinan University, China. Expertise in politics, international networking, youth empowerment, Islamic integration of knowledge, peace, and conflict management, etc. And today's topics that Dr. Sukree going to discuss and join with us, very interesting topics and focus especially on the student. It is about student dynamism and global networking in the 21st century, opportunities and challenge. So with opportunity, I would like to invite my teacher, my mentor, and also my good friends, my senior Associate Professor Dr. Sukree Langputeh. Now is your floor, sir, please. On your อาจารย์ปิดไมค์อยู่ครับ Dr. Sukree, you are
Wait. We have to unmute him. Let him wait, please.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My beloved reader, Dr. Lutfi, and my friend and also my colleagues in the efforts of struggling for Islam, Brother Dr. Ehsan Malik from Pakistan, brothers and sisters who are in this session for the International Workshop Camp for Muslim University Students. Thank you very much. I'm trying to station, inshallah, after 5 minutes, but since I'm coming from Langkawi, Malaysia to Thailand, but anyway, the mission is going to be on, inshallah, by the way. And the topic I have chosen today is in fact about studentship and student dynamism, that we are going to see how we can create and also develop platform for Muslim student dynamism in this 21st century. At the same time, I'd like also to come up with my proposal and also strategy for doing networking among Muslim students in the world. But inshallah, at the end of the session, inshallah, we will discuss. I will entertain questions and also suggestions, also remarks from everyone, and inshallah we will develop further, inshallah. If I'm not mistaken, we have 1 hour here, and inshallah, in fact, I'm ready to be, to be asked questions or even to say anything during my talk. But I think the rule of the game maybe, we will do everything after my presentation. Anyway, it allowed me to show my screen. Do you see my slides, Dr. Lutfi?
So you have to go to the share screen and then put it on.
Okay. Wait for a while. Screen. Start broadcast.
So it's coming now. Yes.
Okay. I think you have seen my slide now, right? Okay, I'll start with this. I hope that everyone who is following the program will understand the topic clearly that we will discuss tonight about student dynamism and global networking in the 21st century. We are going to discuss our opportunities and also challenges. I myself, Sukree Langputeh, as mentioned by Dr. Lutfi, that's my 25 experiences working in Fatani University. But I did migration. I did hijrah from Patani province to my hometown in Satun, which is near to Perlis, Malaysia. And we established together with Turkish brothers to establish Andaman Anatolian Technology College. Inshallah, we will work more on maritime engineering and maritime business administration, inshallah, in the future. So with that, this is the product of cooperations and networking among graduates of Thailand and Turkey, and inshallah will be for everyone in the future, inshallah. Okay, let me start with Basmalah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Let Allah grant us this program tonight as ibadah, and inshallah we will enter the Jannah together, at least by having this kind of program and witnessed by all the malaika and everyone here, inshallah. So in order to make it international, so I'd like to show you the international languages that we are speaking in studentship, especially in international relations. That I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh in Arabic. Since I'm from Thailand, Lutfi also from Thailand, allow me to say something about, at least the translation of Assalamu alaikum in Thai language. This is in fact the translation of Assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you. And finally, Salam sejahtera ke atas anda. I use the JavaScript for a Malay language. So these are the languages that we use in Thailand, especially in Fatani University. We are utilizing 4 languages. And let me begin with the global wind of changes that happen in the world today. The changes that happen in our local areas is in fact related or strongly related or closely connected to the global wind of changes as follows. We are now facing the geographical local phenomena. Here I use the word local rather than global because the connection between global and local, and finally I develop and try to understand from the local phenomenon. Geographically, if we were students of, say 20 to 30 years ago, when we say Europe, we are speaking Romanized languages, and then we were talking about subcontinent. We will see our brothers and sisters who have a curly hair, a bit dark, and then we are talking about Middle East. Okay, we think of our Arab brothers who speak Arabic, but now geography has been locally changed from before, because we think of US maybe some of us who are in the program now coming from UK or Australia, but originally they are from Palestine, they are from Iraq, from Jordan, speaking Arabic at home. At the same time, just go out of your door. You see your neighborhood, you speak English to them, you speak German to them. So this thing happened. Even in Greece now, we can see a lot of brothers and sisters from Bangladesh went there. I mean, working in the restaurant. So geography anymore, like what we have been in the 18th or 19th century. But in 20th century and 21st century, transnational migration happened just just because of sometimes war and sometimes because of whatever reasons. But what I would like to focus tonight is student transnational migration. So because of student transnational migration, today we are going to talk about geographical local phenomena. And the second point is the political compass or political qibla of the world has changed, or rather we can say has been changed by whatever waves of changes that happen. And we will also discuss transnational economic mobility. And then we will also discuss about global demographical movement that happen in the world today. So by that, inshallah, I will try to focus on these 4 elements tonight by going one by one, and then we can discuss further after this, inshallah. Okay, now we start with local geographical phenomena. My 3 points here, hope that you can understand easily that from 5 continents to the world, now we are talking about global village. We are discussing, we are working, or we are connecting to the people, and we found that we are now living in a global village. Because of the internet or because of whatever kind of a social platform that we are using today, Facebook, lines in Thailand, we prefer line. We prefer lines, and then some of the platform that we are using today. So when I was young, I always listened my teachers saying that, okay, we have 5 continents in the world. We have Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, America, all these kind of things. But now, when I look at the book of geography, when I look at the books of, countries of the world, rarely did they talk about continents. Rarely I found that they are talking about the world has 5 continents, but rather they talk about how the world become one, how the world has no borders, how the world has no frontiers, and how the people in the world are having in the same, atmospheres that help them to work further. Okay, thank you very much. Now I stationed at home, and I'm ready to go further with this journey, inshallah. I hope you can see me, Dr. Lutfi, clearer.
Yes, everything's clear. Voice and scene is everything's clear. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Now I would like to go to the second point. We were so proud of our own nations, especially when the system of nation state happened. I am Thai, you are Malaysian, you are Pakistani, you are Myanmar, or whatever. So we are proud of being a local citizen in the past. Especially myself, every morning when I stand up and saying national anthem, I found that I am the best in this country, and we are the best in this region, and that we are the best in this continent as compared to some of the continents of the world. But when I had a chance to study, 30 years ago, I joined International Islamic University in Malaysia. I first saw my friend from Russia, I saw my friend from India, from Africa, mashallah, from China, the way we eat different, the food we consume the same, difference and similars, all those kind of things. So from that time onward, it changed my mentality, changed my mind to think about, wow, we are not a local citizen, but we are rather get ready or get prepared to become global citizens rather. So last 30 years, when I was in International Islamic University, which were among the university that
set up platform for international students in the Muslim world, to come from different continents and live together, work together. And finally, when I come back to Thailand, I found that, the country is moving towards that. But Muslim students who used to study abroad in Muslim countries, or even in Western countries, but meeting with Muslim friends, Muslim students from different parts of the world, studying in the West even, when they come back to Thailand, we found that we are going ahead as compared to our countrymates who are not Muslim. Or even I have friends who are Buddhists, and some of them are Christians. They studied in UK, US, but once they come back to Thailand, still they feel that they are local citizens. Or if not, they will try to look to Westernize themselves. They try to be like Western scholars, Western man coming back to Thailand. So the way they behave, the way they live, just like Westerners, they cannot do this and that because they are modern now, they are Westernized now. But for Muslims, students, mashallah, for those who go to Middle East, like in Medina, Qura, Kuwait, or Egypt, Azhar, Jordan, when they come back, meeting with those who are studying in Malaysia, Indonesia, or even Western countries, we can see that we were trained automatically to become global citizens. Maybe the way that we utter shahadatain, la ilaha illallah wa Muhammad Rasulullah, that finally it contributed. So to me, this is a very huge global changes. The wind of changes in Muslim world, and it happened everywhere. When I met, friends who used to study with me last 30 years, who are now, politicians, who are now bankers, who are now vice president of the country, we were saying the same thing, that we used to be in the platform or in a melting pot that moved us from being so proud of being local citizens to be a global citizen. And when we are talking about brother, friends, in the past 30 years, we were having, very, very close umbrella of the term friends or brothers and sisters that only confined with the people who are of the same ethnic groups, or even, the same colors, or sometimes we do have the same religions, like people in the south of Thailand, we are Malays, but those who are in Bangkok, sometimes they are not Malays. They are Siam, or they are sometimes Indians, whatever. But this is what I'd like to utilize times to understand that they are geographical phenomena that move in our thinking from being local citizens to global citizens. And this is very optimistic way that finally Muslims, especially in minority countries, feel that even though we are living in minority areas, but we are not living alone. We have friends and we have brothers and sisters who are living everywhere in the world, as long as you are Muslims. Okay. And the last one, the third one is, the move from manual citizen to digital citizen. Means that, when we were manual citizen, we use the language of the nation, language of the country. But when we mobilize ourselves, when we move, to another scale of being citizens in terms of, networking, we digitalize our citizenship by using computer program or computer languages, that finally I myself with Dr. Lutfi, who are of course the same Thai citizens, we are using the same handphones, and also we are using the same language, of course. But I myself and Brother Ehsan, we finally work together through digitalizations of this kind of thing. So this is what I mean, global geographical phenomena, Dr. Lutfi. So I'll move to another one. As a student of international relations, after I graduated from Malaysia, from the National Islamic University, Malaysia, and then I moved to China to do my PhD. And then I found that when I was in China, I found that the constructions of new China was not only happened in the big cities like Guangzhou, like Shanghai or Beijing, but they were planning, to make China to be stronger economically, and one day they can try to show their, power politics at the global level. And when I started entering the university, and I asked my friends who are in different universities also, they were talking about how China could shape, the compass, especially the political compass of the world. They were thinking that they were trying to say that we Chinese have to send our students to the world, and we are ready to receive students from any part of the world to come to China. So I was surprised when I look at the numbers, because I did my PhD on the translational migration, and I found that overseas Chinese who are going out from China to some of the countries in every part of the world, they were not asked to come back to China. They were not encouraged to come back. For example, okay, please, if you come back to China, we will pay you more. Or if you come back to China, we'll pay you double, or we will recognize you as a special citizen, whatever. But in contrast, if a Chinese student who went to the US, went to UK, or even went to Singapore or some of the leading countries, especially in technology or in the financial development, whatever, they try to insist their students to go there and try to apply citizenship of that particular country. And they try to give more things like schemes, research schemes, or sometimes funding for working and also doing research in that country, which related to China. For example, trying to do research on Chinese economic development in that particular state, in that particular area of the country, so that finally, by having that funding or research fund, they can live there, they can work there, and then the findings of the research will be sent to China, and finally, they will use all these kind of informations to come back to China, and finally, they set the policy or national policy how to outreach to some of the countries. So by that, I'd like to say here is that no wonder that Chinese could go to every country and could establish experts on mostly every list of the country in the world. Okay, to this extent, I'd like to share to our students here, especially those who are, getting more or less scholarships to become experts of something, of some countries, of some area of expertise, and finally you come back to your own country. I would like to say here, when I was in China, I was surprised when 10 students were called and attended my class. In my class, in my PhD class, sorry, it's a bit noisy here. There were 10 students chosen by the Ministry of Education of China and granted the scholarship to be experts of Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Brunei, Darussalam, Singapore, Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, and Vietnam. And they were given 3 years to do PhD in the country, in those countries. And after 3 years, they have to come back to China and to show their research works, and then also to present to the Ministry of Higher Education that what they have done. I was so surprised that all those young scholars who were sent to those countries in ASEAN come back speaking and presenting their research finding in the language of those countries fluently. And mostly they were doing on politics, economics, social well-being, and also the kind of the demography, all this kind of thing. And what is interesting is that when they are trying to send their students to those countries, at the same time, they also invite students from 10 countries of ASEAN to come to China, including myself. So we have to come to China, and then we do the same thing, the same way with the Chinese scholars going abroad. So at the end of the day, they set up a kind of research excellence center in order to do research for political future of China. So in this case, I'd like to mention the name that they have established. I mean, last 10 years in the universities that I studied, they established Chindia Institute. So Chindia Institute is, the product of Chinese scholars who went to China, to India, to Jawaharlal Nehru University. And then the scholars from Jawaharlal University come to my university in China. And then finally they establish this kind of thing. So why they use this kind of thing? Why they use this kind of platform in order to, to make sure that they are one of the power politics. If we have in the past, we always talk about Western power, and then we have Eastern power, and Muslims and Islamic society always considered as, even though it is not strong, but there's another power struggles. So both the Western and Eastern is trying to get up and then join and then work against each other. So here I'd like to mention that China has planned this thing. China has, strategized this kind of thing through studentship, through student dynamism. So those who are now studying, working in government are mostly those who were sent to countries like to the West, to the East, and to the Middle East. And then you will be surprised when you see Chinese scholars or Chinese scholars who speak Arabic very fluently. And then when they ask them why you speak Arabic fluently, they will say that we were sent by our government to know Arabic language, because once you speak the language of the people, so you'll be easily connect with the people, and then finally you can work together with them. Not in terms of going to control the people, but in terms of going to be a platform for soft power. So this is what they have planned. I just share here because this happened to me myself. Okay. The second point is that the politics of numbers. The global political compass. What I mean here, the political phenomena here. Sometimes, politics of numbers count, because can you imagine that when just now I talk about China, and then I say India. Can you imagine the population of China and India is nearly 2.8 million or 3 billion out of 7.5 billion of the people of population of the world. So in this case, when we are talking about the economics bargain or financial bargain system, you can see that the politics of numbers can be something that we finally has to be convinced that. And then the next one is the creation of new world order. It may be the last, maybe the old things that we are talking about this, but in fact, this is also the change of the wind of change of the world that happened today. I try to explain to you this kind of thing, because finally I would like to urge all of us to think about then why Muslim students have to do networking in order to create platform among ourselves, and we can come up with this kind of challenges in the future. And then I move to the next one, Dr. Lutfi, transnational economic mobility. We can see that another wind of change that happened in the world, not only in Muslim world today, is that the move from conventional to non-conventional economic system. We can see that the old economic theories are now not really in favor of the people now, and then non-conventional economic system, including Islamic banking system, Islamic financial system. So the room for that comes already. And then because of that, like for example, the country like us in Thailand, even though we are Muslim minority countries, but now we have Islamic bank, we have Islamic cooperatives, and we need a lot of Islamic professional and also banking personnel and also experts in order to fulfill the need for non-conventional financial system that happen now in this country. And also, if you look at countries near to Thailand like Cambodia, I think Dr. Alfin is also in this group. So you can see that Cambodia is one of the fast-growing country, and especially the country is very open-minded for opening platform for Muslims, especially Muslim students who are coming abroad to develop the country with the government. And then in this, I will also think that we have more opportunities as compared to the track that we have currently. We have more opportunities to introduce, economic mobility, which is not only happen in Muslim countries. We have Islamic banking system started in UK, in US, or some other part of the world, especially where Muslim move in. And then with that, I think the transnational economic mobility will have more endurance, sustainable, universal platform in the future, inshallah, by the transnational migrations of Muslims to those kind of countries. The next one is global demographic mobility that happened because of the world student mobility. We can find that Muslims go mostly to every continent of the world for study. Even in my university, Fatani University, we are living in a conflict area in the south of Thailand, or some people say Patani. Even that we have currently students from 48 countries coming in, means that the student mobility from other continents or other part of the world to another part of the world increasingly fantastic. We had never thought that students from Yemen will graduate PhD in Islamic studies in our country. We have never thought that Malaysian students are coming for undergraduate, master's, and PhD in a country like us. And we had never dreamed for producing more than 120 students from Cambodia. And now they went back to their countries and becoming somebody in their homeland. And we have never thought also that we, after 23 years, we already have students from China. And for your information, brothers and sisters, students from China who used to study in my small university in the south of Thailand, in the conflict area, has been already 16 provinces. China is, I'm not mistaken, there are 31 provinces or states, as far as I know. It depends on how and what criteria you have categorized the country. But at least they have 31 provinces, and we already have currently 16 provinces that students come to study in my university. So you can see the world student mobility. Forget about Muslim majority countries, Malaysia, Indonesia, and Turkey, and Middle East. They are offering a lot of scholarships. And I don't know some of the countries, but I know that Turkey alone has provided 5,000 government scholarship to everyone, not only Muslim, but everyone who wants to study in Turkey, undergraduate, master's, and PhD can go to Turkey, and they have provided 5,000 scholarship every year. And it allowed me to say a bit more, a little bit about China. They have provided 20,000 scholarship every year for students to study in China, because they want to be champion. China wants to be champion of international students. So they want every country in the world has got scholarship from China and studied in their country because they believe that one day when the students go back to their homeland, their home country, they'll become somebody. So it will be G2G connections because at least since I myself is getting scholarship from China, so I'll try to think about how can I contribute to the, to the body that I got scholarship or to the country I got scholarship. At the same time, for those who are getting scholarship from everywhere in the world, they also think about that. So world student mobility, in fact, urge, the transnational migration of students. And finally, if you look at that, if you look at the numbers of statistics of the student, I'm sorry, I cannot provide a statistic here. But Dr. Lutfi, if you look at the numbers of students, those who become boomerang, I use boomerang theory to explain that and to understand that, means that you go, the longer you go, the farther you go, then you come back to your hometown and you do something connecting to the place that you used to study. That's one thing. The second, there are also students who are coming to study in your country, they will go back. They got married here or they got citizenship and then they work here. So when we look at Malaysia, especially the National Islamic University, last 30 years, mostly students who study in Malaysia, they go back to the home country. And students of IUM, those who come last 30 years, when they go back to their home countries now, many of them become somebody with the big positions. But lately, if you see the later development, many of even Chinese students or Pakistani students, Indian students, they study in Malaysia. At the end of the day, they don't go back, but they work in, sometimes international companies or sometimes local companies. So this is what I like to come to conclusion that this is a world student mobility that happened, which finally create transnational migration and finally create student dynamism that I mentioned in my topic. The second one is the workers move in and move out. When I say workers here, the global demography mobility that happened in the world today, not only students, but workers move in and move out. Workers sometimes they got license, they got all this kind of thing. They go into, they go out, but here I don't concentrate on this because I just would like to concentrate on student dynamism, and then even wars and refugee is one of the reasons for global demographic mobility. And then Dr. Lutfi now comes to the point that I'd like to talk about student dynamism through my suggested or my proposal of strategy. I call it SUN strategy. I call it SON strategy. The first one is self-strategy. S is self-strategy. I'd like to say that when we are trying to create, a dynamism for students that studying, everywhere in the world, now we would like to underline that the development of the head, the development of epistemology, or the development of disciplines that we have, for example, in Thailand, Dr. Lutfi. Do you have any information? Do you have any idea, since you are also working with many organizations as well, with youth or students? Do we have information about how many Muslim students who are going abroad studying in what fields, what specialization, what discipline? And then, do we really need that discipline? Do we really need that kind of specialization in our country? In order to make sure that, firstly, they go by purpose to study with the strength of that country, and then bring the know-how from that country, bring epistemology of that field of studies, then come back to develop their country. Mostly students just go because they have scholarship, they are scholarship provided, and sometimes because I'm fond of that country, so I got money, so I just go there. So we need a strategy. We need to think about, for example, we Muslim in Thailand, we are minorities. We have less than 10%. So what kind of expertise from what country, from what university, from what part of the world that we need to send our student. So they can go purposely to that country, to that university, to that professor. And then when they come back, we have already the list of the student that now we have experts on science, technology. Now we do have experts on chemistry. Now we do have experts on this and that, on international relations, whatever. Or at least we can claim that we have experts on that country. Now, Dr. Lutfi, I would like to communicate with you since you are my moderator and also you are from my country. Can we mention who is the experts on Malaysia in our country? Who is Muslim experts on subcontinent? We have Professor Charan Malulim. I think everyone knows him, okay, in Thailand. And then we have also Professor Dr. Sarawut Ari from Chulalongkorn University. When we have issues in Middle East, we have this. So this is what I mean. We would like to produce the head of Muslim students everywhere from the world. So finally, we can have a list of scholars or list of experts, list of experts, and also somebody who really can mobilize to one country to another. We need Dr. Ehsan Malik to come to Thailand and stay for a month, for example. Why? Because we need his aid, we need his knowledge, we need his expertise, we need his capacity of teaching our students like that. So this is the mobility that we would like to do in the future, inshallah. This is what I mean, student dynamism. The second one is that hands. Hands here means skills. In order to become or come up with student dynamism, we need skills of writing, skills of talking, skills of presenting, skills of writing scopus paper, skills of connecting people. So skills, which here I use the term hand, is also very important. Sometimes you can see students who are first class but don't know how to talk to people. Sometimes we can see somebody who is very bad in academic performance, but at the same time he is fond of by his friends and everyone loves him. So this is art of connecting with other people also needed in our society. So this is what I mean by hands here, and this is also the second requirement for sales strategy. And the last one is heart. Sometimes we have sent students abroad. After 2 years they drop, they just leave, and normally this kind of group of people, they don't come back to their hometown, so we cannot trace them. So the sales strategy of our student dynamism should compose of hate, means knowledge, epistemology, and what we really need from them, and why we send to that country because of this, because of that. For example, why last time I was talking to parents here that I would like to send our kids to Kazakhstan. He said, why? I said, then Kazakhstan is one of the country that has nuclear. I don't know what is the terms that, but nuclear. Yes. So at least in the future, from petrol, from oil to nuclear, so that's why we have to. This is what I mean. But we have to send students to those kind of countries in order to forecast that the future we need this kind of energy, nuclear energy. Then at the same time we need to develop their spiritual, their ruhanis, their true heart strategy. This is as what I mean. Secondly, okay, we have 15 minutes more. The second strategy I would like to discuss here is the organizational strategy. Dr. Lutfi, Dr. Ehsan, if you are around, I would like to direct our attention. I don't know now, maybe different, but during my time, I understand that leadership is pyramid. Leadership is kind of a pyramidic model. So when we are talking about pyramid, about leadership, we always think that leadership must be only one person control everything. So when we are talking to find a person in our society, in our organizations. We try to choose the best. And naturally, someone who is understood as the best, he has also weaknesses. But in contrary, there are also some people, he is not the best in that area, in that field, but he may be the best in other fields. So that's why when we produce, organizations by using pyramidal model, normally we can have somebody who can be the best, but after that, who can replace him? This is what happened in my university, because mostly, for those who are working in education, especially in higher education, they may know Sheikh Dr. Ismail Lutfi, the rector of my university, and then everyone globally knows him, especially in Muslim universities, rectors and president. So when he said, okay, now I want to step down, and then I want new deputy directors want to replace me and do. Everyone feels no, Stas, no, you cannot stop. You have to do further. You see, because everyone is afraid of when somebody step down, and then who is replacing him. So this is the way that we produce a pyramidal model of leadership. But I would like to propose, especially with the student dynamism, that we should come up with a Kaabah model. When I say Kaabah model, it means that we can have at the same time the leaders of the four. You see Kaabah, we have Rukun Yamani, Rukun Iraqi, and Rukun Rukun Aswad, So all the Rukuns has its own characteristic. You see, the Prophet Muhammad himself, he has Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, anhu, he has Umar al-Khattab, anhu, he has Uthman bin Affan. You see, he has an old man, older than the Prophet, nice man, but strict in some senses. This time we have Umar al-Khattab and Uthman, who is keen and good at working on financial issues. At the same time, we have also Ali Karmullah Wajha, who is a knowledgeable person. So it means that in one organization we need at least four. So that's why I call Kaabah model. So in this case, if we can produce a Kaabah model of leadership in every country, every university, every department, so at least we will have the second generation, the third generations of leadership in universities, over the student bodies, and inshallah they can replace us in the future. This is what I mean by organizational strategy. And the last one is a networking strategy, and this is what I put in the topic as a networking, global networking. When I said networking strategy, I try to understand that networking covers four people. Networking covers four people. And then these four people can be applied to everywhere in the world. And not only in academic area, it can be also in economic areas or even in business, fields, and or even in social fields as well. Look, in networking, we are working with inside insiders. Inside insiders, to my understanding, you may understand different, but to my understanding, inside insiders mean those who are born there, now living there, working there, and still going to be there. This is very important for students. For example, you are from Thailand. Now you got scholarship to study in Europe, you got study in Turkey, and Kuwait, whatever. Even though you are, moving outside, but you still have to do networking with insiders, people who are living there, people who are working there, because they are those who knows a lot about the area. They are those who have the capacity of infusing everything about the area. So networking is not only with those who are outside, but networking should be also intra-networking with the people, what I mean insiders. The second group, which is very important as well, that is inside outsiders. Those who are coming from outside, but finally they come to study in our country, come to study in our university, they come to study in our department. This is another interesting group. I have the experiences of studying in Malaysian universities. I'd like to mention here when they mention, the name of the brothers who used to study with me from Bosnia. They came to Malaysia to study during those, wartime, and then after studying in Malaysia, they went somewhere else. But finally, I was so happy when people say that Amir Bukrik went back to Bosnia and then become, Bosnia Bank international manager, whatever, or I don't know what the exact position of him. And please allow me to mention his name, even though maybe some people don't know him. But I just want to show here is that Malaysian community used to have international students. During my time, it's already 83 countries coming to study in Malaysia. After 30 years, many of Malaysian universities, especially IUM alumni, who are now deputy president, vice president of the country, who are now prime minister, who are now deputy prime minister, who are now ministers of different countries. What about if Malaysia, allow me again to use Malaysia and IUM as an example. If IUM or Malaysia invite all the students of my time who used to be outsiders who stayed inside for the last 30 years, now they become somebody. What will happen then? Think about scholarships that Malaysian government used to give us. Now I and my friends who used to get scholarship. What about if I give scholarship back to Malaysia, to the university? So this is what I mean by outsiders. They are people who can contribute to the country. Outside insiders, to me, to my understanding, means that those students who are from Thailand, who are from UK, who are from Egypt, went abroad to study. Okay? Those who are from our country went abroad, and then when they come back, they are not coming back like the day they went out. They got something together with them, not only certificate, but they got friends, experiences, sometimes fundings, and sometimes a lot of things that they can come and contribute to the country. So these are outside insiders that we need to consider as a third group of networking strategy in order to create global networking among the students. And finally, outsiders. I have seen a lot of students who have never been abroad, and sometimes I saw a student who have never been student outside the country, outside my country, never come to study in Thailand, but they want to work in Thailand, they want to help Muslim in Thailand, they want to, to communicate with Muslim in Thailand. So this group is also very important. Outsiders, they never sit together, share the same guru, or having a debate during class, in the last few years, but they don't have any connections. But they are also in one basket of networking as well. So when we're talking about this, I would like to remind myself and everyone that networking is sometimes which has four components: inside outsiders, inside outsiders, outside insiders, and outside outsiders. Then within a few minutes more to finish, I would like to show some pictures for you, and then I hope that you understand by looking at the pictures without any explanation from me. And this is the way I'm trying to land my plane, and then everyone can understand by themselves. Look at the challenges. This is the challenges of student dynamism. Sometimes we feel like, okay, we are brothers, Muslim brothers in Ikhwa, or sometimes but we also have this kind of thing, and to some extent we also pulling our friends down, and then I try to push myself up, but it's too difficult. So at the end of the day, the directions of student dynamism is nowhere. So we have millions of Muslim students studying in their own countries, outside their countries, but finally our students has no directions, and to the extent that we cannot even help ourselves and then forget about helping others. Next one is, can you imagine that if we don't if one of the challenges of networking is if we cannot move, the rail to the no more phenomena, no more situations. So finally, you cannot move, networking each other. At the same, but anyway, we do have also opportunities. So this kind of program, in fact, this virtual camp of international students, in fact, it's like we are bringing wall down. We are bringing wall down, and then this wall will become the bridge. So Alhamdulillah, thank you very much to the organizing committee, to my beloved friend Ehsan and other organizing committee, that you have been doing this. You have been bringing down the wall that's close, that stop between me and you, and then I can see what you are doing hardly in order to lift up the Muslim community, and then you also see me what I'm working here in non-Muslim countries in order to say to the others, Al-Islam ya'lu wa la yu'la alayh. And due to that, inshallah, we can work together. We can work on dynamism, that students from different parts of the world can be together, move up together with full dynamic. And then this is what I really want to see in the future of student dynamism and global networking. We don't want one person to get champion, but we want everyone to become champion, inshallah. And not only champion in this world, but also Jannah, inshallah. We want everyone to enter the Jannah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah doesn't say that if someone already go into Jannah and then he stops others to enter the gate of Jannah. But everyone can just invite so just show the way in order to go to Jannah, then you also get the reward from that. So I'm not promoting LGBT here, but I'd like to propose two she chain. In the concept of she chain, the first chain is Sheikh, Shuyukh, the second one is Shabab. So the combination of student dynamism, all good students need good guru. All good guru also need good students. When the combination of Sheikh and Shabab going in the right way, I believe that Islam will become a ya'lu wa la yu'la alayh, inshallah. And then finally, it's time for us Muslims to move the world, rather than we let the world move us for a long, long time. Since 1924, 100 years already, after the Khilafah Osmaniya has collapsed, then now we let, for 100 years, we let others move us to the directions that they want. But now, inshallah, with student dynamism, I believe that, you see, students from different parts of the world, different colors of the hands, different clothes that you use, you see. But we are going to move the world into what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us. And with that, I believe that Islam will be rahmatan lil alamin. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Thank you very much, Dr. Lutfi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much for the Sukree Langputeh. Now we go to Q&A session, and Hassan Wali is raising hand. I will for those who are raising hand first. Session. So Dr. Sukree, you are ready to answer the question, right? Actually, the presentation was very good, and I believe that more than half in this group now is 21 participants, 22. More than half, I think, we are they're student and also maybe lecturer or whatsoever. So anyway, that's very nice and excellent presentation. A lot of new theories which I never heard before, like a Kaaba, what we call that, Kaaba theory or whatsoever. So that's very nice, and thank you again for your presentation, Dr. Sukree Langputeh. So Hassan Wali, sorry if I pronounce your names incorrectly. So you are for the question, please, sir. Sir,
I'm trying to
please unmute yourself first.
unmute. Right. Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Yes, sir. Please go on.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Hear you now. Yes, please go on, sir.
All right. All right. My brother, I'm so impressed with what you've written. Okay. Because we have a lot of red flags about students studying outside, insiders, outsiders, insiders. But you've explained it very clearly, and I think we need to expand on that and maybe write some material for our students. Why I say so? 9/11, we know what happened. A lot of universities opened up, and many students went across being sponsored there so that they could become agents of the CIA, the American internal security. You know everything. I don't have to talk about that. So we lost our students. Their ideologies were lost. They came back home and they became a problem. So we have this. I had an offer to study overseas, and my paper was to write the Quran as the creation of Allah. Look at it. That old ideology hasn't left us. So they took innocent people who could write on that, get funded, get a lot of money, and where we have. We also remember Salman Rushdie, the sources of writing satanic verses was offered money by the foreigners so that they could come and corrupt the whole of Islam. So we have that problem. You're aware, I'm aware. But we need to indoctrinate our children that if the moment they go and study outside, they bring the ideology, the colonialism. We broke the chains of colonialism, but we speak the language, we eat their food, and we enjoy their romanticism. We haven't lost that. So we have to break away from that mental chain. And the best part is, I'm happy if you can bring people coming to Muslim universities, and then they can leave the legacy behind. And we know that it's deen, dunya, and akhirah. Many of them come with other reasons. And that doesn't mean that we must close the door to people who want to come into Islam. So we have to use it as a form of dawah. I think your last notes was important, that we have to embrace the people. And at the point that we make, that Islam focuses on the heart and not the mind. The human body is a vehicle that takes us to the akhirah, but it's the heart that will survive. The body will disintegrate. The mind's got nothing to do with it. So we have to work on the heart of the Muslim. And that is where we fit in education. So I'm very impressed. I would like to communicate with you. Maybe we can come up with a handy book that could help Muslim students on the way to education and help them. And I'm thinking very seriously that I think we should have a gap year, a place somewhere fully Islamized, where we could work on the heart of the Muslim child before he goes to any university. We have to give him the filters, because once they go in there, and all these universities that are financed by most of the the Middle East countries are just by name. The people that run there are either atheists, they're either Zionists, they're enemies of Islam, and they project to be Muslim sympathizers, but they corrupt the minds of our children. We have this problem, and I've done work with these people. So Jazakallah, I'm so happy that this conversation we're having today, I'm more delighted that you think in the same light, and I've got a lot of hope that inshallah, Allah knows about this. And I think it is for us to make that walk to bring and change the heart of people. Shukran, my brother. Can you comment? Maybe
it is like a challenge for the Muslim students. So, Dr. Sukree, I would like to say something about a comment from Brother Hassan, please.
Yes. Thank you very much, Brother Hassan. Barakallah fiqh. Barakallah fiqh. You have mentioned, I mean, exactly what we are facing, in fact, but maybe in our case, it's not that, because we are not living in a Muslim country. So maybe what you have mentioned just now, that after sending our kids to those countries, that finally they come back as a CIA agent or whatever. But I think the reasons why we finally in Thailand, we have set up our own university, Waqaf University. This is the endowment university. Then we want to make sure that the syllabus, the program that they have entered, they studied, is in fact what we really want to infuse him with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not going to control them, not saying that you cannot study this, you cannot do that, you cannot do that. No, but you
they should know, the guidelines of how to seek knowledge, and to the extent that they know that what is khair and what is su, whatever. And then inshallah we are the idea that I told you and the audience last time, that we need SON, means son strategy. Son, to my understanding, is like wallet, and this will be to us. This is our son will continue working for that, and at the end of the day, this son, when we have self strategy, and then when they have an organizational strategy, when they have networking strategy, so they are not easily go into traps. I mean, they are not easily got traps, but rather when we have this kind of strategy before sending our students abroad. Even now in our country, a small, number of students were brought into orientation program. Like, for example, when our students are going to, when they got scholarship, they want to go to whatever countries. So we in Southern Thailand, we try to organize, one program that we try to orient them. We try to give them orientations on when you go outside, what you are going to face and how can you deal with that, how you handle with that. That the first, Brother Hassan. The second, when they are there, when they are in that country, we cannot just leave them like that. We, Muslim organization or student organization in the country, or the seniors like us, older people like us, we have to group up among ourselves. We have to visit them in UK, visit them in US, because they will be easily got into traps when they were hungry. No one is going to feed them. So when somebody feed them with a very cheap thing, so they just go for that. They just jump for it. So that's why what we are doing now, this is our own experience in our country. We try to group up ourselves when we got program in UK, for example, or when we go to, we have any program in US or even in Australia. So we try to visit them. We try to, mashallah, or how are you? What do you have? What problem do you have? Whatever. So we group them, we talk to them. This is the, during their studies in those countries. Then the third level, when they come back to our country, we need, to be husnul khatima, we need to invite them, and then we feed them, we talk to them, what help they need, especially those who just come back, they need jobs, they need work. So we try to facilitate for them to get the job, the right job or the right works in the future. So the process is on. When we talk about dynamism, means that the process of taking care of students, starting from then orientations and then following up when they were abroad, and also when they finish their studies, they have to come back. So we should orient them how to live in the real life after graduation. This is what I can talk to you, Hassan, and everyone. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Very much, Dr. Sukree. There is two more questions. So the second one was from Huawei, but it's disappeared now. The Imran Yusuf question in the chat box from the Sayyid Farouk Aziz. So Dr. Sukree, you listen carefully how you can see from the chat in the chat box. The question was to have different challenge discrimination. How do you agree about this? So this is the question, sir. You can see from the chat box. I'm not sure you see or not. Anyway, I would like to read a question from the Sayyid Farouk Aziz. You have different challenge with religious discrimination. How do you agree about this? So this is the question from our participant, but through the chat box, not through the, not from live. So you got the question, sir?
I saw only one chat box from brother from Congo.
Oh,
He said, okay, let me go with this first with Dr. Lutfi. He said, I would like to translate your books into French and Swahili, inshallah, especially to propose a plan for making a multilinguistic mode too, so as the French, Spanish world, etc., can benefit, inshallah. So he has given me his contact. So for this, inshallah, we can share this into whatever language, inshallah, in the future. And then, in fact, it's not the book yet. I'm trying to make it Kutaiba. I'm writing this this one, but not finishing yet. Even some theory or some strategy in developing Muslim student dynamism. I'm working on that, but I haven't finished yet. Once I finish, inshallah, I will discuss with Brother Ehsan Malik or even the committee if we can send it to anyone who wants to read my thought. Then we develop together, inshallah. And for those who want to translate it to whatever language, ahlan wa sahlan. This is waqf lillah ta'ala in order to work for Muslim student all over the world, inshallah. Then can you mention again the question, Dr. Lutfi?
Yes, sir. Again, the question from Brother Sayyid Farouk is, he asked that you have the different challenge include religious discrimination. How do you agree about this? This was the question.
Your voice is not clear, brother.
Please, again, question was, do you have discussed different challenges but did not include religious discrimination? How do you agree about this?
Thank you, Dr.
Yes, sure. I'm sorry that I don't discuss because just now when I discuss about challenges, I just show photos. I don't really go point by point. No, I do agree with you. Of course, religious discrimination happen, especially we are living in minority Muslim countries. Sometimes the issues of wearing hijab, the issues of a lot. I don't even have time to mention all those kind of things. But these challenges is in fact, will we let it be challenges all the time, or okay, I just share my thought with you. For those who are in agreement with this, sometimes lakum dinukum waliyadin. So they do their words, we do our words. So this is the struggle that we did in Thailand. We just want the government to accept what we have to do, and then let them allow us to do what we have to do, as long as it doesn't disturb the rule of law of the nations. But to some extent, we also had demonstration. For example, like last 20 years, when they don't allow students to cover hijab, whatever. So after talking politely to them, they did not accept that, or blah 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 blah. And then finally, people have to go down to the street and then show their strength by showing their hands. Takbir, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. I myself used to do that before, and I was thrown from university. I was dismissed from university by doing these kind of things. But when I am getting older, I found that sometimes negotiation, discussion is the best way if we can do it without having to go out to the street, or this is the way. Anyway, brother, I do agree with you that one of the big challenges for Muslim community is religious even aggression, not only discrimination. Issues that happen in Myanmar and some other part of the world. I don't want to mention it, but we all know, even in in China, whatever. So we also put this as a challenge. It doesn't mean that I don't put momentum to that, but bil hikmah, because the best way for us is to think about the long-term way to cover or to handle the challenge rather than short-term. So after our demise, for example, myself and Dr. Ehsan, we are old already. So maybe after 20 years, if we don't solve the problem in the long run sustainably, our kids have to do the same thing again in the future. So we have to think of how can we do this kind of thing? How can we handle the problem vividly, and also not only think of our time, but also after we have been away from this world, inshallah. Thank you very much, brother.
So will be the last question and one request. The next question will go to Imran Yusuf. Please, brother Imran Yusuf, you have any question? You will be the last question, I hope. So Yeah.
Brother, let's see here. I also have two questions. in the chat box.
Okay, so the session will be on no limited time, right?
Inshallah, we will conclude after this. Yes.
Okay. So, Brother Imran Yusuf, please introduce your
Assalamu
name.
alaikum.
Please introduce your name and your country too. If your position of your work.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Imran, I'm Imran from Kenya and I'm a student. My first and foremost, Jazakallah Sheikh for your beautiful presentation. My question is regarding one of your slides talking about economic mobility, and you mentioned Islamic banks. From my understanding, I know that it's not allowed to work in banks or to keep your money in banks. What do you think about that? Yes.
In non-Islamic, right?
Yes.
You mean you cannot bank in the money in your country?
No, what I mean is, like, what I understand is working in banks is not allowed in Islam. What do you say on that? Because
No. I didn't say that. What I was saying is that there are moves from conventional banking system to non-conventional banking system, and one of the non-conventional is Islamic banking system, because it happens in UK that they don't use the term Islamic banking, but they could interest-free banking system. So what I mean when I mention wind of changes in the world today is moving from conventional economic system to non-conventional, and one of the non-conventional is Islamic one. And since you are mentioning this, I would like to show one of the way that we did in our country, just to share with you shortly. Those days we don't have Islamic bank, and we don't have even Islamic window of the conventional bank. So Muslim has come up with new solutions by setting up Islamic cooperatives. And when Islamic cooperatives has started, and after 30 years now, we have set up a network of Islamic cooperative all over the country, and we have more than 100,000 memberships, and the asset is more than 10 billion baht. So it becomes alternative, and not only alternative, even the Islamic cooperatives works much better than Islamic banks, which are sponsored by the government currently. So this is what I mean by the move from conventional to non-conventional. And finally, we are proud of our Islamic banking system by having or introducing Islamic cooperative rather than going to the bank, even though Islamic bank, but it is by the government. So this is what I mean, brother. Thank you very much, brother Imran.
Sheikh, shukran. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Hasan Malik, so you said that you
Yeah.
yes, please, sir.
We have a question here. Doctor, you have talked of student mobility, but many students in Africa do not have access to such scholarship opportunities. How can you advise such a person who would wish to continue with studies but cannot secure a scholarship?
Okay, very good question, brother Hasan. I think, in fact, you have the answer yourself. But anyway, one of the big problem of Muslim students in the third world country. In fact, I don't really like the word third world country. We are in the first world. The access to scholarships, and many of them has lost the opportunities when the scholarship has already ends. The date of application. Okay, for example, you have left 2 days and they know today, and then that is one. The second one is that we should have, if this kind of platform of IIL by you and some other friends, if we can continue with not only promotion of scholarship, but I think we should have create a platform for telling them how to prepare themselves to win the scholarship or to gain the scholarship. Because a lot of students, when they were in, for example, grade, after getting A levels or grade 12, they have to go for university level. Some, or even many of them, try to prepare themselves to enter university and win the scholarship when they are in grade 12, which is too late, in fact. So I really want to have a camp or international student camp, if we can do in any country, or we can do like international program like this. We try to prepare them when they go for secondary school. Then we can talk about scholarship, because we have to let them know also what kind of scholarship that are dangerous. Just now, when the brother had mentioned that, they were brainwashed and so finally they become somebody, darling, whatever. So in this case, we can come up with what kind of scholarship that we prove that goods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can tell them. So you should prepare yourself, get ready for this kind of scholarship. If they need some time, the standard of TOEFL 550, or they need IELTS 6.0, whatever. So they can start preparing themselves when they were in the schools. That's one. The second one, Brother Ehsan, when I'm talking to students in grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, what do you want to be? Where do you want to go? And then what do you want to study in the university? They don't know. I don't know. I don't have directions. I don't have this. So I think we are facing the problem of guidance and counseling for education in Muslim world. When we talk to a student in Europe sometime, or even US, even though they are not having good qualifications, but they know, I want to be this, I want to be that. For our kids, they don't even think of, or sometimes they are not brave enough to say, I want to be pilot, I want to do this and that. So I think the dilemma is not with them. The dilemma is with us to guide them. So we should come up with the program, that guidance and counseling for education. That's one thing. The second is that we should come up with a list of scholarships in the Muslim world for Muslim students to study science, technology, chemistry, or even whatever areas in the world. We should come up with a directory. Then we can distribute to Africa, to India, to everywhere. And I believe that students, when they got scholarship, and of course, so quote unquote scholarship, which we feel that not doesn't have any hidden agenda. When they got scholarship, at least they train themselves how to become somebody who has to be like, when you got scholarship, you have to do a good job, and then you have to prove that you are winning the scholarship, and then you could finish with the scholarship. So this is what I try to propose to myself, and then to you. We can do it on a national level, or we can even do it on regional level, or we can do it on international level together with the national inshallah, brother. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Brother Dr. Sukree Langputeh, for your time, your very nice presentation. Actually, you were speaking just our heart, whatever we just want to see our ummah like that, and you have given us a very good guideline today. We also need to work on our own field, as I am here now in IIUI in the Department of Politics and International Relations. So we also need to do some activities for our own students and our own discipline. So inshallah, we will cooperate, we will coordinate. I'm thankful to you for your time, and inshallah, we will keep in touch. I am thankful to all the students, all the participants. Dr. Sukree, you want to say anything? Thank you, Dr. Lutfi. Thank you very much, brother. Yes, Dr. Sukree.
Thank you. Somebody
Brother,
asking
brother
the
Ehsan.
email of Dr. Sukree. So please, Dr. Sukree, can you leave your email address in the box chat, in the chat?
Okay, I will leave it. I will
Okay.
leave my email, and then while I'm typing my email address, Dr. Lutfi, I would like to use this opportunity to thank the organizer firstly, and then to thank you for everyone who comes and share thought and ideas tonight, and for those who are listening to me, even though you agree or disagree with me tonight, but I think we should work together for the betterment of Ummah, inshallah. And one thing I'd like to invite students who are going to study in maritime technology in the future. I'm coming back. Okay, let me talk. I talk to you first, and then I will write. Otherwise, my mind and my hands cannot work together. We are in Thailand again. We cannot wait the government to establish Islamic University. We cannot wait for the government to establish Islamic University. But we have a lot of scholars who studied abroad, and then they come back, then they are ready to work in Islamic University. That's why my rector, Sheikh Lutfi, has established university. And then studying from the first program we have, Islamic Studies, Sharia Saladdin. Currently, we have started with science, technology, and we are going to offer a nursing as well in the future. So this is, I would like to say that when we started doing something in order to solve the problem that we are facing, then finally Allah will give us. Can you imagine that Islamic University, even though we don't use the name Islamic University, but Fatani University, but we can open this platform for Muslim students from both majority and minority Muslim countries. Then this will be great. And we don't stop with that. I myself, after 25 years working with him, now I moved to another coastal area on Andaman side on Indian Ocean, and we established another college. I mentioned to you just now, Andaman Anatolian. We work together. We cooperate with Turkish government, and then we opened firstly with TVET program, professional program for 3 years program before going to universities on shipbuilding engineering. And then, inshallah, if Allah gives us a chance and opportunities, after 3 years, we will establish another university, but we don't use the category of university, but we try to use institute. We have the name already, Andaman Institute of Maritime Technology. And we will have 2 faculties only. The first faculty will be a faculty of maritime engineering. And the second faculty will be the faculty of maritime business management. And then inshallah, we will have also a research center on maritime studies, maritime technology, whatever. So brother, when we are talking about scholarship, we are talking about recruitment of new students in the future. I need students from all over the world. If possible, in my new university or my new institute in the future, after 3 years, currently I have already 11 countries enrolling to study with me in the next 3 years. But inshallah, I plan that within 10 years, we would like to have about 100 countries coming to study in my university, inshallah, in the future. So we will continue working together, Brother Ehsan and all the brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, Dr. Lutfi. Now I will write my number and also email in my chat box. Yes.
Very much. Actually, a brother from you also testing about scholarship university. So if you leave your email or WhatsApp number, may contact you and ask you about. So
yes,
thank you very
brother,
much
I
for
just need to mention that we have invited a guest speaker. He will be with us day after tomorrow, Sheikh Mamoon Al-Azmi. He has remained with the Islamic Development Bank, head of its scholarship programs. So he will be there and he will be able to better answer such questions. So keep in your mind, inshallah, Sheikh Mamoon Al-Azmi, he will be with us day after tomorrow. He will speak about the topic, how to study in the West as a Muslim, but you can also ask him about the scholarship. Actually, I requested him for the scholarship, that how to get a scholarship, but he said that he will discuss it a little, but he will focus on studying in the West. Yes, Brother Lutfi, you can conclude the program.
Jazakallah khairul jaza to Dr. Sukree and Brother Ehsan Malik for giving opportunity for all of us today, and the program will continue for 2-3 days more till 20th, right? So I hope this program will benefit us all, and I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward us all, to all speakers, all the participants, and thank you very much for your hard working, Brother Ehsan, and for those who are interested in joining the program. So I would like to hand over my this moderator back to Brother Ehsan Malik to close the program for today. So thank you very much for your attendance.
Okay, thank you very much, Brother Dr. Lutfi and Sheikh Dr. Sukree Langputeh. Thank you very much, and all the participants who were with us today. We conclude our program. Inshallah, tomorrow we will have 3 more sessions in the same way and the same timing. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.